All right. Good evening and welcome to our. All right. So you're welcome to our the 5 of our 7 days intensive sight reading masterclass with me, your host, Mr. Malcolm. We are going to dwell more or digress more on ways to which we can actually sight read, see a piece of music and being able to interpret it the way they are. Within the past 5 days, we have been able to lay down a foundation for you, and I want to believe that this foundation all right. I think it's okay now. Okay, I'm so sorry for the break in transmission. It's not my fault. I've been struggling with net. Oh my God, I'm really sorry. So welcome. I want to believe you're with me. Please leave a comment for me. For those that are online, I'm sorry. I was struggling with network. I was really struggling with network. Um, I was actually struggling with network, please. So for today, we are going to digress more in the sight reading aspect of music. Uh, okay, and it is a signature that tells you where your first note falls. And what is your first note? Your first note of the scale is the tonic. So the tonic is the first note of your scale. So when you see a key signature, you look out for the tonic. For instance, your C, the key of C that does not have a flat, neither does it have a sharp, starts on the middle C. So you have your C on the middle C here. And we can also find an octave from there. In space of the treble staff. So you look out for your C. Where does my third space fall? So we've established that your C is on the first ledger line or in the third space or on the second ledger line above, below it is the first ledger line, or in the third space, or you can also find it on the second ledger line above the treble staff. These are places where you can find your C. Now, when you be able to recognize where your tonic is, all other notes should be simple. For instance, this is my tonic. That means if I see a note here, this is actually do, my do, when I'm singing, right? So if a note falls on the staff, on the first ledger line below the treble staff, that note is my C. So we've established that this key now is in key C, and that your do will be here. Yesterday I was able to give you trials, and I gave you another note. Yeah? So this note, sorry, let me put it here so I can bring in the sulfur note here. This is going to be your mi. So we have do, mi, what do you have here? Do, mi. And on the second line is going to be your so. And don't forget that in the third space we already have your do. Yeah, that is an octave above. So you have here do, mi, so. That is first ledger line below, and the first line, and there your second line of the treble staff is do, mi, so, do, mi, so. Repeat after me. Do, mi, so. So when you see a note placed here, you should be able to know that it is your do. Mi is on the line, and the first line, and the so is on your third line. That is just what we've done in the sulfur here. Then we already established, because already we know that this is F, A, C, and E. So you can see that we have another C in the third space of the treble staff. Very, very simple. So you can be given things like this. Okay, for instance, let me bring you higher. This is my note. So here we have a note here, a note on the C, and on the D line, which is your fourth line, and we have another note on our E. So this is do, re, mi. So do is your C, re is here, and mi. So you can do the same thing from below here too, do, re, mi. Then when you're coming down, like descending, if this is your do, your T is already here on this line. You know your T leads you to your do. So the note that comes before your high do is T. So if you are descending, so you say do, ti, la. So in the key of C, now let me just write it down. If this is my do, like we have here, this will be T, la, so, fa, mi, re, and do. So you can now see that it's the same thing. Do, ti, la, down. You can still come down from here. You still have T in the space, and la in the on the first ledger line, and so in the space. Then and it comes down the same way. Here we can still go up. So we have do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That is on the key of C. So let's do some exercise on the key of C. Let's do a few exercises on the key of C. So I'm going to start with this ledger line. If a note is here, so yeah, I have 3 notes in this bar, and I have another note here. All right, so we have here your C, E, and F. All right, so I'm sorry for the break in transmission. So here we have your C, E, and F. Don't forget that in the key of C, your do is here. So your notes here. Yesterday I gave you a pattern that you can use. If your tonic is on the line, that means your mi is going to be on the next line, right? And you know that your letter line is a short line. It's the same thing as the line, but just that it is short. So here we have our tonic here on the line. So the next line is going to be our mi, which is our medians. And here again, very close to reach. You are going higher here. You can see that it's going higher. So you have something like this. Do, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi. Do, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi. Do, mi, fa, sol, which is on the first line. Sol, fa, mi. So if you see a song like this, you can easily sing it and sight read and play as well. Okay, let me bring a very familiar tune, a note like this. This tune is very, very, very familiar. Now, what do I have here? I have a note on my G. My G, I have here E, I have here A, I have G again. That is G, E, A, G. So my G is my sol, right? My E is my mi, my A is my la, and my G again is my sol, B, C. So what I have here is the high do, because this is there is a lower do here, so it's gonna be do, do, then yeah, C, which is on their line, which you are B, do. So you see what we have here already. G, E, A, G. That is G first, E, A, G. Then here we have C, C, B, C. G, E, A, G, C, C, B, C. So, mi, fa, so, do, si, do. So you've got it now? It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. So I want to believe you understand what we just done. This is how you sight read. Now, if I were you, the first thing I'll do when I see a piece of music, I'll write out the letter names, just like I have done here. I'll write out the letter names here. Then, from the letter names, I'll locate my note. So, what should I do first? Now, if the song is in key C, that's why you have to know your key signature. If the song is in key C, I'm going to write here C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. When I'm done with that, I'll come under the C and I'll place my do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So yeah, I already know that my C is my do, my D is a re, E is my mi, F is my fa, G is my sol, A is my la, B is my T, and then the other C is my high octave. So if there is another note, it can continue like this. I would also have my D here, which is going to be the high re. So when you have your high re, you've had everything already. When you have this, your C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Do under the C, re under the D, mi under the. That is because your C, D, E, F to C, that is the key you are into. You're playing or you're singing. So what you do first is write out the letter names from C to the next C. The first C is the root. The second C is the octave. The first C, this is my root. My second C here is an octave. We call it an eighth. So your second C is your octave. So when you see it, C to C, you then write out the letters do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do under it in a separate place. Then when you're done, you look for the position of C in your staff. When you are done with that, the next thing you look for is where do I have my C? Where is C on the staff? Now we've established that our C can be on the first ledger line below the treble staff or in the third space of the treble staff, or you can also find it on the second ledger line above the treble staff. Now, it would all depend on the location of your C, your first C. So now that we've already known that, okay, we can find our C there, I can find my C, and they said, okay, this is my C actually, and I know I can find my C on the first ledger line. So I'll start counting from here. When I see a note, I'll count this as do, first ledger line as do. That means this space is going to be re, and here I'll have my mi. Now I've seen a note here. I already established, okay, this is my mi. Now I'll go further. I have my fa here, which is your subdominant of the key of C, which is your F. So I know that this is my fa. Any note I see here is going to be my F and my fa. Then After that, after the fa, we have your saw here. Now, that is the second line, right? The first note here starts on the second line. I would already establish that, okay, that is my saw. Because already I've seen, okay, G is my saw. Are you seeing it? I now know that this is my saw and that E is my me, right? We already know here. So the letter E, any note that falls on E is a me. Then we already have here A. What is on the A? My La. We have again another G, yeah? What do we have on G? So again. Then we have an octave from here, which is another C, which is the high Do, and that's one, another high Do. Then we have T here, which is your B. B is on the third line. I'll place my T there. Then we have our final notes. Very, very simple. If you follow this class tonight judiciously, I don't think there is anything that is going to stop you from sight reading. Now let me give you another very simple example. We are done with this example. I'll be giving you another simple example, and we'll use the letters we already have on the board to do the exercise. Already we've established that when you see your C, you add your notes under, right? So now I'm going to give you another one. So I have a note here, then I have a note here, then I have a note here. Okay, let me make these notes 4 counts. Then I have a note here, and a note here, then a ledger line, then a note on it. I want to keep it simple. Now we have our notes already on the board. This is my quarter note. I'm so sorry. I'm really having a terrible network tonight. I'm really sorry. I am sorry about it. I'm short of words. I don't really know what to say. I'm really sorry, but I'm so sorry about these inconveniences tonight. All right, so I can't really remember where the video stopped, but let me do a kind of recap so you can understand. Okay, so just like I said, we've been able to establish that, okay, when you see your C, your C can be found on the first ledger line below the staff, or in the third space, or on the second ledger line above the treble staff. Now, when you get your C, you know that already that song is in key C. You write out the alphabet from C to the next C. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When you get to the C, now you write out your solfa notation below it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. When you're done with that, when you're done writing out the solfa notation below it, the next thing you do now, you look at the music that you've been given. Now I've given us a very short exercise here. Now the exercise has in the first bar 3 notes, and in the second bar 4 notes. 2 quarter notes, and then Okay, so the first, sorry for the break in transmission. So the first note now is on E. The first note is on E. So what I'll do, the first note is now on E. I'll look for where my E is. Where is my E? My E here is already the mi, right? I'll write out mi here. I'll then look for the second note. The second note is on my G. Where is my G? My G here is my so. I'll write out my so here and the value of the note. You know, this is 1, 1, and that's why it's like this. Then the third note here is placed below the first line of the treble staff, which is your what? Below is supposed to be your D and is your Re. You've established that. As simple as that. Then when you're done with that, you go to the next bar and do the same thing too. So the first note I have here is already my C. What is my C? My Do. I'll then write out my Do again here. The next note I have is my D. Just moving away from C, I have my D, right? The next note is the next note, which is going to be my Re. Then I have the third note, which is on my E, which is my Mi. And I have the fourth note, which is on my C again. Then I have my Do. So very simple. You can do as give yourself some exercises like this. Give yourself, do it on your own. So we have mi, so, re, do, re, mi, do. Or if there was space, we would have continued. That is how to do it. Finally, on the key of C, before I take you to another key, let me give you another very simple exercise again. Very simple exercise again. This is what you do. Just get your exercise book, give yourself some exercise. So I'm still on the key of C. I'll leave this and I'll take 4 times signature again. So I'm going to do this. All right. I added extra notes there, so I have to give another bar. Now, with what we have on the board, you can do it, right? This is first, we have our quarter notes, our half notes, quarter notes, half notes, quarter note, and quarter note. What I will have to do here is to locate the notes first before I start singing. So I'm gonna, when you're starting something, you don't rush, you take it gently. You take it gently. So what I will do here is, this first note is on my C, right? I have the first note on my G. What is my G? My G, we already know here, we've established it, is your So. The second note here is your G as well. This one is 1 beat, 1 count, and this is your second G, which is your So. You then give it this. Then, sorry, so this is your So, right? So I'll give, then what do I have here? I have my F here. I'll look for my F. My F is my Fa, right? All right, Fa. Sorry, I'm giving that space. I'm supposed to give that space. So let me give. Right? Then All right. So you have here your G, G, F, and E. My G here is my so. My second G is my so 2 bit. Then my F is my fa. Then my E is my mi. I'll come here again. The next note is my E, right? And it has 2 counts. So all I have here is my mi again. Then I'll give it 2 counts from here, right? Then I have another note which is my what is it? My D. My D is supposed to be my re, right? Then I'll give it. Then what do I have here? I have E again. Then I also have here, this is not correct. So I have then I'll have here my F again, which is my fa, and my A. What is my A? La. So you already have it there. Now you can sing it. So, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, la. That is one piece. It's very simple. So I have one piece with the fa, the attend. So one piece with the father attends my way. That is how you sing it. It's as simple as that. So you can give yourself again another exercise. You go, let me come here and give myself another exercise. Then I'll go so do. Then I'll give myself the third line. And then I have here then all right, so you can see what we have on the board already. So we have here another G. What is my G? So, right? We have here the higher C, which is your octave. Then you can come here, do this again, and then what is this? Let me remove all this. Do and then what is this? Your B. My B is T. I have my A here, La. I have my A again, La. Then I have my G again, which is So. Then I have my F sharp. That F sharp now has added a chromatic, it's a chromatic note, Fi and So. So you can see from the beginning up to that point, you sang the song, you already have it in the staff, and you already know it now. So we can sing it together. So, which is G, G, F, E, E, D, E, F, A, G. Right? Then you come back to the next line. G, C, B, A, G, F sharp, and G. That is what you are saying is so, do, ti, la, la, so, fi, so. As simple as that. So that's how we sight read. That's how we sight read. Now, let's give us another example on the key of G. Now we've been able to do this on the key of C. So you do that. Now on the key of G, what do I do? I'll remove my C, then I'm going to start my letter from G. So that is going to be G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, my do is my G. That is to say that your do would always be on the lines there. Your do is your G. So your do would always be on the lines. So my do will always be on the line. I have here do as G. Re is your what? A. Mi is your B. Like that. So when you see a piece of music, let's say for instance you are seeing 4/4 time signature and the piece of music is on G. So let's say for instance there's a note here. So there is a note here. Okay, so we already have our notes. We've established the note on the key of G. Now, the G key signature must be here so that we know that it's on G, right? Now, this is on G already. So what do? I want to sing this song. In my key of G, my G is the tonic. I'll first of all look for where my G is. I can find my G on the second line or above the fifth line. I can find my G on the second line or above the what? Fifth line. So what do? I have seen this is going to be my G. Already I know the lines and spaces. I know that my first line is E, my second line is G, my third line is B, my fourth line is F, A, C, and E. Yeah. So now that I know this now, I've written this out. So what do? This is my G. Key G, right? So the first note is on D. I'll write out the software notation. The first note is on the fourth line, right? So what is on the fourth line? What is on D here? So, right? Good. What is on the next note is in the third space. What is the third space? C. Third space is C. I'll write out. What is on C here? My Fa. The next note is on the third line. What do we have on the third line? On the third line is your B. Where is your B here? Your B is on Mi. You are done. Very, very simple. Now let's go to the next bar. You are done with this bar, right? So, Fa, Mi is what you have. So, Fa, Mi. That is what you have in the bar. Because this is two counts. We established that this is two counts, right? And this is one count. Go to the next bar. What do we have here? We have a note on the E, which is your fourth space. E is your fourth space. So where is E now? La, your La is your E. The next note is on the fourth line. What is on the fourth line? D. What do we have here? So the next note is on your third space. What do we have in the third space? C, right? What do we have on C here? Fa. You have sight read. You've played it. So far me. Now you go to the next one. What do you do? Okay. The next one is we have it on the fifth line. What is on the fifth line? My F. What is on the F here? F here is T. Right? The next note is in the fourth space. What do we have in the fourth space? My E. So what do we have on E here? My La. And the next note is on the fourth space. Sorry, fourth line. Pardon. Fourth line. And what do we have on the fourth line? We have our D. What is on the D? So I've been able to sight read that song on the key of G. We've been able to sight read the song on the key of G. And that is how it is. Very, very simple. Now I'll give you the final exercise on the key of G as well. Now what you do is when you see the note, you look for the tonic first. From the tonic, you know that this is the key. You write out the letters of that key. Just like we've written out here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Under it now, from the first note, you write do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. When you are done with that, you then look for the notes now. This is my D. This falls on my D, which is my fourth line. What is on the fourth line here is so. You write it down here. You are done. So let's do another. Let me give you another exercise on the key of G. So I'm going to write the G signature here, that signature here, and I'll write okay. So I'm going to write here my B, A, G, G. Then I have my EE. Let me make the E two cants. Then I have here my D. Then I have G, and this. Okay, this is quite simple, right? So the first thing, let me do it here again so that you get it. The first thing I'll do, since this is already, I have known that this is on the key of G, right? The first thing I'll do is I'll write my G out. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Under the G now, I write do, re, mi, fa, right? So this is where my do is. Now with this, you don't even need to look for your do. You just look for your notes and you start singing already, because we've established that G is the tonic, right? So when you get this, you look for these notes now. Under each of these notes, you have this alpha notation. So what do? I have my B. Yeah, the first note here is B, right? The first note is B. So what is on my B? My B is me. The second note is A. What do we have here? We have re. This third and fourth note is on G. What is on G? Your do. Now the first note in the second bar is E. What do we have on E? My E is La, right? Which is the lower La because it's below the G. I'll teach you that tomorrow. Then we have another La again, which is on E. Then here we have below E, we have D here, right? What is on the D? So Then here we have, in this other bar, we have it, first note is on G, right? So G is my do. Second note is on B. Where do we have B? Me, right? And the third note is on A. Where what is on A? Re. If after this class you cannot sight read, then it is not my fault. So I want to believe we've gotten it, and that is it. If after this class you cannot sight read, if after this class you cannot sight read, I doubt if you will be able to sight read again. I am so happy, and I know we've been able to do best tonight again, and I want to believe that our God will help us. Our God will help us so that by the end of these 7 days, you should be able to at least see a piece of music and sight read on your own. That would be my happiness and joy. I would be so happy to see you sight read, because that is the sole reason why I have dedicated these 7 days for this task. I want to believe you've added some value to yourself tonight again, and I wish you God's blessing and grace as you go to bed. Good night. We end here today.